see what happens in the next Olympics after that.
All right. Well, let's do that. Let's wait, 2 more years for the Olympics, and then we'll see what happens there. But, Rich, it's time for the second ramble. Are you recharged and are you ready?
I am, and people aren't going to like this one, Johnny.
Oh, I'm going to love this one. I am going to love it.
All right. Well, my second one goes out to the captain, the 20-year veteran of the New York Yankees, Derek Jeter. Now, for those of you who don't know or who haven't heard or who haven't been in front of a TV or a radio or haven't seen a billboard or haven't been outside or have no friends or, who have no family or anything, Derek Jeter's retiring. So I know it might be a shock to some because people really aren't talking about it and there hasn't been any commercials. He hasn't really gotten recognized for this. But he's retiring, guys. And it might just be being a disgruntled Met fan, but it's just so annoying. It's the word to see him walking out even on road trips, walking out every road trip. You got to have every last game of the homestand with the Tampa Bay Rays and the Orioles giving him a gift. And what's with all this? What is this? Why are other teams giving this guy gifts, honoring him, anything? This guy, he's been your competitor for however some odd years. And to kind of, walk him out and you are commemorating him in your home ballpark and giving him random gifts. And just, have you seen some of his gifts, Johnny? Like, have you seen some of the gifts that he's getting? Like,
I have.
It's great. You know what? Derek Jeter's retiring. You know what? I'm going to give him a kayak. Why are we, I'm going to get him a bucket of chicken somebody's got. He's got pictures. He's gotten trips to overseas. He's done all these things for what? I mean, I don't understand just the reasoning behind these away teams or just the other competitors who are just walking them out, everyone clapping, all this. I mean, not that I was going to bring it up, but I'm going to bring it up now because we still have to talk about sports here. The Yankees have been fighting for a playoff spot for the past couple months. I mean, obviously they've been fighting for that playoff spot, but they were fighting for the second wild card spot. And for the past, 2-3 weeks, their most important games, Derek Jeter 0 for 26 had a slump. So in the Yankees' most important stretch, literally nowhere to be found. And there wasn't even talk. People would get exiled if you talk about, maybe he shouldn't be a number 2 hitter. Forget it. No, not Derek Jeter. He would be too proud to do that. Does anybody even think that just for a second, if you knock him down in the lineup, or if you sit him a couple games, that maybe the Yankees would be sitting in the playoffs right now? That's just something that I'm not saying it would, but I'm just saying it's something that no one's really talking about. It could be argued it could be a stretch, but it could be argued that if Derek Jeter was placed down in the lineup, or if simply he wasn't in the lineup the past couple of weeks, the Yankees could have gotten in this playoff because they're not looking like they're into it now. And he really had a bad stretch, and no one really kind of talks about that. And, since he's been captain, the Yankees really have only had one championship. And when he was captain, he was the captain of a team who had the worst collapse in baseball history, to Johnny Sinkel's Red Sox. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that you can nitpick out. And I just really have a problem. I get it. I respect the guy. I respect him for, staying with the same team, which I'm also going to kind of backtrack and say, how hard was it for him to stay in New York? How hard is it for him to stay with the Yankees? Stars all around him. He's in a big, big-time franchise in the Yankees. Was it really that hard for him to stay in New York? It wasn't like he's playing in Houston and just moves in every friggin' week. He's with New York. A bunch of these stars, Posada, Pettit, Clemens, every steroid user, A-Rod, all these guys. And was it really that hard for him to stay? He's beloved for staying in New York, like he was going anywhere else. If anybody leaves, they go for a bigger market. He's in the biggest market. So I just, my main issue was the Yankees have the nerve to have Derek Jeter Day. Well, if you ask me, every 162 games of this year has been Derek Jeter Day. It was way overblown. And I get what Derek Jeter did when he announced that he was retiring this year, because let's face it, he knew he was going to be a bum this year. You knew he wasn't going to hit for average, and he knew that. And he wanted to make sure that he wanted everyone to know that he was retiring not based on the poor performance that he was going to show this year, which nothing was more prevalent than his poor performance these last few months. And he wanted to make sure that this wasn't the reason why he was retiring. He had that in his mind way long before. And the last thing I'm going to say is this last, I don't know if you saw the Stanko, that last Gatorade commercial that just came out on him.
Oh, yeah, with the fans.
I mean, for somebody who didn't want a farewell tour, he really sure seems like he's been enjoying all of it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't read too much into the commercial because I'm sure he's under contract, and Gatorade's like, he will give you a ton of money to do this. But listen, I agree with a lot of the points you make. I respect Derek Jeter for being with the same team. He's been a stand-up player. You've never seen him on off-the-field trouble. He always dated models, which is good for him.
Yeah, exactly. That's the one thing I'll say. He kept his nose clean. So yeah. Especially nowadays, with all the stuff we're talking about in the NFL and all these arrests and all the mistrust and all the assaults and all the arrests and who's getting pulled over for DUIs, this guy has kept his nose clean. And especially in baseball with the HGH and the steroid era, this guy is clean, hopefully, for now. He's clean. So that is one thing I could say about him, is that he did the right things. But, oh, my Lord, we get it. He's a good guy. Now, please, just everyone shut up. I can't wait for their season to be over. I'm so happy that they are not in the playoffs, because I would have to listen to a whole other month of this. So I'm happy that it's almost over, and in a couple of weeks he will play his last game. And he's playing his last game in a field, a stadium that has hated him for so long, and your Boston Red Sox fans are going to give him a standing ovation, Stanko. There's no doubt in my mind, and that bothers me.
Listen. I'm not gonna lie. When I went to Red Sox game this year, I clapped the first time he was up, because that was the last time I was gonna get to see him play. And I've always respected him as a player. I never really liked him as a person. I always thought he was a little bit arrogant, but I respect him as a player. I did not clap the other times he got up. I booed him because, one, the Yankees were winning, and two, he's the Yankees. But there were people standing up every time he got to the plate, and I was like, guys, you want to win the game or not? It doesn't matter. And the biggest thing for me is I was okay with Mariano Rivera's farewell tour last year because he's the best to ever play his position. He's the best closer to ever close in the game of baseball, and he probably will be in the history of baseball. He was that good. I am perfectly okay with that when you are the best to ever do what you do. Derek Jeter is not the best shortstop of all time. He's a good one. He's left a legacy, but he's not the best. I'm sorry, but you don't deserve the goodbyes and everything like that. You don't deserve that unless you're the absolute best in every way, shape, and form. So that's the biggest problem to me personally.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. It really is, and it's really. I don't hate to knock Derek Jeter because, like I said, there's things about him that I like, but I can never like the Yankees, especially this Yankees. But nothing against him personally. If he played for any other team, I probably would like him. But if you're in pinstripes, I'm sorry, you're getting hated on in Ritz'ss Ramble. That's how it is.
No, you're getting hated on in the Strictly Business podcast. You're getting hated on overall.
You're getting hated on. This is a bad podcast for you to be a Yankee. It's not the Yankee podcast.